Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of The Hawksness. Today, we're talking about some of the seasonal festivities along with your weekly updates on the football and soccer. Hi, I'm Antonio Solano, and with me I have Dario Lawson and Lindsay Peters. The fall season have been upon us for quite some time now, and what kind of activities are going on right now on campus?
So Chris Museum at Southeast River Campus holds a lot of kind of seasonally based activities. A couple weekends ago, they had a session where you could come in and paint a nightscape scene. And this past weekend, they had some classes where you could attend different stations, and it was called Halloween at the Museum.
So what kind of activities or crafts were available at this open house?
So the crafts that you could do were broken up into stations. One where you could go sew like a little rag doll creature, one where you could paint some wooden gravestones or jack-o'-lanterns, and one where you could even carve pumpkins.
Is there any other events coming up soon that we can look forward to?
Yeah, definitely. So on Thursday, they're going to have trick-or-treating at the museum. And then as November comes upon us, there's going to be a watercolor leaf painting class. And like I said, as November is entering and December, the holiday season is going to be upon us, and there's going to be a lot of seasonally based activities coming up.
And you know what's scarier than those daunting decorations? It's what the soccer team suffered when Bailey Ratton got ejected from the play. Lindsay, can you tell us what happened?
You're right. The soccer team did encounter a scare this past weekend when their one and only goalkeeper was ejected from the game after receiving a red card. Now the Redhawks were able to hang on to their lead within the last 5 minutes and now reign as the OVC regular season champions.
First place in their regular season, that's incredible. That hasn't happened since 2011, right? So who contributed to this goal?
Now, the opposing team did score first before SEMO was able to answer back with 3 goals, one scored by Jennifer Bryan, Lexi Grote, and Megan Heiser. As we mentioned the red card earlier, the game was a very physical one where 4 other yellow cards were also issued.
Now that the Red Hawks soccer battled it out for the first place, when will they play next?
Now, the Redhawks will have a bye next weekend, but the number 5 and 8th seed will play against each other next Friday against themselves, but the winner will play SIUE that following Sunday. The number 6 and 7th seed will also play against each other on that Friday, and the winner of that will play UT Martin. The Redhawks will return in 2 weeks, where they play November 8th of the reigning team who against the SIUE and the 5 and 8th seed. Now the Redhawks do have the advantage of hosting the semifinal and final OVC championship games.
Sounds like a really high honor. And speaking of honor, I heard that one of their students got recognized at the Ohio Valley Conference.
You're right. This is our second week in a row that 2 football players have received an OVC conference honor. Now this week it's outside linebacker Omeric Douglas for Defensive Player of the Week, as well as our quarterback Joe Pyle for Newcomer of the Week.
So how well did they perform to get such important recognition?
Now, Antonio, I'll tell you, Douglas led our defense with 5 turnovers, 3 interceptions, 3 tackles, and 5 record sacks. Pyle was put in during the 3rd quarter, where he was able to run back a 61-yard touchdown to tie the game, before Douglas was able to intercept the ball and run back a 32-yard touchdown that sent UT Martin home with their first OVC loss. Now, Pyle stayed in the rest of the second half, where he attributed 51 passing yards as well as 35 net rushing yards to his performance.
That's very interesting. Sounds like our team had a really exciting game, what they remember, right? So, Daria, what do you think the fans will remember about this day?
I mean, considering the game was pretty much spent underwater, I still think we had a pretty successful homecoming weekend. The Redhawks didn't slip up on their winning streak, currently standing at 11 straight wins at Huck Stadium. And SEMO is now tied number 1 in the OVC standings after they beat UT Martin, the previous number 1 seed.
Now, like you said, Daria, SEMO is tied for number 1 with UT Martin, Eastern Kentucky, and Austin Peay.
What a spectacular and successful weekend we had for Hawksness, right? Thank you for tuning on this episode of the Hawksness. We'll see you next week, and I hope you had a really happy Halloween.